let's go to Vista for just a second. Main menu, accounts payable. So let's go to AP transaction entry. So what I foresee happening, let's go ahead and create a new batch, please. And enter, please. Enter. Vendor. Now, type in enter. E-T-E, enterprise like an enterprise. I say enter, and I really mean enter.
Oh, like type in. Like this?
Enter. Okay. Now, the nice thing is if you don't know the number, you can actually type in it unless there was an enterprise tire company down the road that beat Enterprise FM Trust.
You never showed us that before.
Okay. So the only time you can type alpha in there is if there's two alpha Seattle Department of this, and you don't type in a bunch, you'll get the first Seattle instead of the second one. So instead you have to do F4 lookup. I just said, hey, type in as much as you want. It'll pull up because the primary key is the vendor number, but you don't have all the vendor numbers memorized quite yet. Okay. So invoice. So this would be the month-end invoice, and if we got it in a spreadsheet, let's go ahead and just type any dummy invoice number in there. Enter. And then this could be your January enterprise or whatever we want to call the thing. So get your little enterprise in there, enter. Put T for today's date. Remember, that's a shortcut to do that. And then we don't know the total yet. So let's come down in there. We could scan an enterprise invoice and have backup to our thing if we had an enterprise invoice or something. But I need an Excel spreadsheet to do this thing. Hit N, which is your next or your new one. Instead of job, we can import this as an equipment type. So equipment, enter, enter, F4. Now, as long as my equipment numbers are the same, grab any piece of equipment, and then we're going to hide component type and components, you're not going to use them. Hit F4. We can hard code because it'll always be repairs and maintenance on it. Will anything in enterprise be anything other than?
Well, the lease and fuel. Well,
on
we
same
can have
invoices, or
that.
would
I'm
be
sorry,
reset?
lease, we have lease expense through enterprise. The fuel goes through our WEX cards, but they partner with enterprise, so it would mainly be just the lease.
Gotcha. Lease
And repairs
card.
and maintenance. And repairs and maintenance.
Okay.
Mainly that one.
So let's go repairs and maintenance on that. So we would have to differentiate from that. Hit F4, and 3 is third-party repair. So now, only because that piece of equipment is owned by, I think that's a corporate, it's going to vehicle, or no, this is construction, I believe. It should be hitting, according to the department, that department's mapping that GL expense account appropriately, okay? So then all I need was an amount. So the repairs for that was $100 for the month or whatever it would be. Hit save. So what I have to do in the grid view here is have a spreadsheet. Doesn't need much information. Let's go ahead and widen this up. So I've got an import template that the header is always going to go to this vendor. So I just need to know what piece of equipment. Then we'd have to know, is it repairs and maintenance or lease? And then the cost type and the amount over there, the system will automatically do the general ledger for us. And we can import. So if one batch had 100 pieces of equipment on it, instead of having to add 100 line items here, we could import that thing. And then you'd be like, hey, this is nicely integrated. So as long as our primary key, the equipment number is the same, we just have to figure out how to do cost code 100 or the one for lease or the one for repairs and maintenance. Make sure the cost type is the correct one and the amount, and we can create an import.
I've never seen an invoice from them, but do they line item per vehicle and show for the month of what repairs we had done? Do you know?
Well, yeah, and it's kind of we have access to like a portal that has kind of a grid view for all the maintenances.
Okay.
So there's different formats that you can pull out of there on how you want to see your
Okay.
invoice.
Gotcha.
So I do believe we can probably come up
We
with
can
Yeah,
get
they
something.
can
all
have
that.
self-service.
We're looking
We can
good.
maybe get Excel or CSV export.
That's what I'm wondering, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a couple different abilities in there.
Cool. So that's really what I need. I need one header with the total invoice amount, and then each line item needs to allocate that total amount. to the specific piece, and then I've got a batch import so that's going to get the enterprise expense into AP, but I'm coding it to the equipment at the same time. So go ahead and put $100 up into my invoice total on
Quick
top.
question too. So on.
Oh, sorry, I'm saying, Don's not a good trader. You can get 0 in your invoice and $100 down there.
Yeah. So, real fast.
Yeah.
So this import, right? Instead of going to the IM module, is there a way, user-defined button, that we can create that just asks for the file if it's already in the format?
We could, those, so go ahead and hit save. I haven't really talked a ton about this, but go to Vista and main menu, go to your import steps right here. And so that IM import, once the template is done, double click, we can create a custom button that will have that. Does that make sense?
So the import ID, the template's all set up.
I mapped the template, we QA'd and tested.
So
You just
pop
need
this
that,
up.
does that make sense?
And we hit
Yes.
browse.
Yep.
And you grab the file
Yep.
to make it quicker. So they have to jump around it, or you're in the module, hit that button, and it brings you to this.
Let's do one of these, because I haven't kind of shown you much. Have I shown you this? Let me show you how quick and fast it is.
Okay.
Okay. So cancel out of here, and so let's go ahead. I'll click over here for a sec. Hit cancel out of there because I'll show you what we got to do. Down to the Viewpoint Administration Programs, custom form buttons. So the benefit of this is on any table. So go to AP. Is there a space? No. Put in TR. Backspace, backspace, space, TR, backspace, backspace. Title, go to AP space TR. You have to know the internal name, and sometimes it's tricky. It's actually AP entry, and I forgot that. Okay. This is button number 1. I can have as many custom buttons on any form that I want. Text. Okay, so this is IM import, because that's the actual program you're going to run. Now, click your little down arrow. This can be a report or a program or some stored procedures or fancy SQL statements or something.
Okay.
This is going to be a form.
External application.
Yeah. Action. And so hit F4 and type in over here IM space import. IM. Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
I see.
That one right there. Okay, and hit save. And close. Now go to Vista and let's go to accounts payable. On that form, AP transaction entry, you've got an unposted batch. Let's pull that up. And up at the top, go to Tools, Move Custom Buttons. Now, this is kind of tricky. You gotta kind of drag it over here somewhere. It's kind of tricky. Just let it go for a second. It's a pain. You gotta go up.
Zooms in.
You have to put in the header.
Okay,
You're down on the
I'm
bottom.
getting there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Pull it up a little bit and then just.
Why does it do that?
It's, go up a little higher. Not, you're going too high. Go down a little bit.
Will.
Okay, now go to the left. It's like a carnival ride.
What the heck is going on? This is a little different than the field.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's, okay. So now, let's go ahead and pull that out, that little button, just make it a little wider.
Are you
Okay,
kidding?
now hit accept.
What is the
Okay,
deal?
so now, instead, if I had that out there, you just you create the header,
Okay.
and then you hit import. So, this is just a little thing, so cancel. But like I said, you can put a button kind of anywhere that you want
Okay.
and do the whole thing. But actually.
Is it taking me right to the correct import ID? Or no, I gotta change this.
Well, actually, no, this is a temp file, so actually, what are we gonna do? When I do that, and we get that file from Enterprise, and I start mapping it, it actually will create a sequential batch for me automatically. And you know what? I don't actually need this here. So actually cancel out of here. So he says, you made me go through all that for nothing. Come back to Vista for just a second, hit the main menu. Go to Viewpoint Administration, because actually you're in a batch already. The batch can't be there because the system's actually going to create a batch. So go to Custom Form Buttons. That button hit the big red X.
On this one?
Yeah. See, that's, and actually it's going to create the batch. You'll be in the batch when you run that. So cancel out of there. It won't belong there. Yeah. So let's go to Vista and transaction. So basically, it's going to create this batch, so that button can't be here. Oops, I touched your thing. I'm sorry. Hit that grid. So we'll have to create a little thing so that when you go in there, bam, it pulls this out. It'll come down here. This total amount will equal the sum of all your items there, and voila. But it will create the batch for you. So we created batch 4. You don't have to do that. The system will create the next incremental batch for you. So I'll set it up to automatically batch process for you. Okay. So now go to File at the top, Process Batch. We'll have some sort of control where we'll be looking for our grand total number. Hit Validate. Here's where it's going to hit the equipment and the GL, kind of like we talked about over there. So it's going to go ahead and debit repairs and maintenance to the right company, depending upon which company owns the equipment. There's your general ledger. It's going to put an open payable out to enterprise for the sum of the invoice amounts. And it's going to create an equipment entry for every piece of equipment in the equipment module. So it knows which piece of equipment had the repairs and maintenance or lease or whatever the case may be. So like I said, it's going to go from enterprise to AP, and EP is going to send it to both equipment, so you can get a good audit trail by equipment, and then general ledger, which is going to map it to all the appropriate GL accounts. Okay. So cancel and post. So basically, this is going to take care of this enterprise cost, and this is both for repairs and maintenance and for lease. Is there anything else that enterprise is going to push over there, or is it just pretty much for repairs and lease? Are we missing any other touch points? There is